Are there things you can do to avoid being falsely accused? This is Christina Williams with Just Criminal Law.
And David Mann, legal storytelling specialist. All right, so there's always a story. If someone is falsely accused, what sort of does that look like, first of all?
Sure, we see this across the board. You know, sometimes our clients are innocent and they've been falsely accused. And so it comes down a lot of times to a he said, she said, or he said type of situation. And what you do or how you behave definitely impacts whether or not you put yourself in a situation to be falsely accused. For example, say you're involved in an intimate relationship with another individual, and for some reason they decide to report that the relationship was non-consensual. Now, how do you prove that you were in fact doing something that was agreed upon? This type of scenario is something that unfortunately I see all the time.
Okay, so yeah, it sounds like that's a situation where you thought it was going to go one direction, but now the other person has decided it didn't go that direction. So what are maybe the top 4 ways that you can avoid a situation like that?
Sure, I mean, just right out of the gate, just don't hang around with people that are questionable characters. Now, whether or not you know their character, you know, sometimes it's hard to avoid. But don't, for instance, get involved with, say, a girl who's had too much to drink. And, you know, maybe this is an isolated contact. That is, you didn't have a relationship with her before you got involved in that intimate situation. You know, if that's the case, make sure that everybody is fully capable of remembering what happened and that there's, in fact, you know, very clear consent there. And some of the ways that, you know, you can show that maybe after the fact is in that type of situation, you know, keep track of messages that you send the other person. Or, you know, a lot of times people communicate by Snapchat, and then that makes it really hard to show those communications after that connection. So just have some sort of physical, you know, black and white evidence that that encounter was in fact consensual, and you know, that can save you a lot of heartache.
Okay, so it sounds like there's sort of 2 instructions there, 2 pieces of advice, which is to try to avoid that situation in the first place by having a good judge of character. And if you do find yourself in that situation, make sure to document the exchanges. But I bet there's also an opposite thing, which is maybe don't post about it on social media. Am I guessing right on that?
Well, I mean, don't get into disputes, let's say, on social media. Don't post, you know, sarcastic or derogatory comments. Just be aware that, you know, what you're putting out there might come back to bite you. If somebody becomes upset with you or they're disgruntled about, you know, a relationship that's gone bad, that is just a way to protect yourself as well. Make sure that what you put out there online, you wouldn't mind having a judge look at later in court, because that might be the reality of the situation.
What if you end up, you know, it's not sort of a one night thing, and it's more you're in a relationship with somebody that you like and trust and everything, but it goes bad. And now it's gone really bad and you're having a big argument and they're threatening you and stuff like that. So how do you protect yourself against false accusations in that scenario?
Sure. I mean, a classic scenario of that is husband and wife. They, you know, decide that they're going to go their separate ways, and they all of a sudden are in a position where they're going to split you know, custody of the children and their property. And people, you know, their best side doesn't come out during this time in their life. And so, you know, be aware that, again, those exchanges, whether it's a voicemail, a text message, a post on social media, all of that stuff may end up coming up in court if you're falsely accused of something, or even during, the divorce proceedings. So you just have to keep in mind that your normal way of communicating, that is texting, using other apps, those are memorialized. And you might be thinking that's just between you and the other person, but the fact of the matter is that those things come up, whether it's in a prosecution, for some sort of accusation of criminal conduct, or just in the civil divorce proceedings. So, make sure that you're acting the way that you would not be embarrassed if you were in front of a judge or jury trying to explain those messages.
That sounds like great advice. And of course, always know your rights. And when you end up in something that could be potentially a legal matter, you should always seek out an attorney like yourself. So how might someone do that?
Sure. We'll include a link in the description where they can call, text, or chat with a member of my team anytime, day or night. Here at Just Criminal Law, we know you only get one shot at justice, so make yours count.